They voted Ben Bernanke sexiest Fed chairman ever. Cool. It's Sully and Russ on the Big Biz Show.
Big Biz Show, bigbizshow.com. Great to have you along today. Biz Television Network, TiVo, Ustream, Spike TV, CBS Radio Network, Armed Forces Radio Network,
Live.
Business Talk Radio Network. Along today, Sully here, Rusty Nails there. Let me ask you something. Russ and I started a social media site called utwitface.com a couple years back. Which
YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, all in one.
And it didn't take off. I think it was Greg Antone who handled the NFL, the production of the NFL, that told us that the new media is all media. And it took me a long time to realize that, look, we got a microphone, we got TV cameras, we got a website. What the hell do we need this other stuff for? I found it very quickly that not having social media in your arsenal, if you're a small business person, is tantamount to having a pager on your hip these days, as opposed to a cell phone. Deb Cole, Coach Deb, in studio with us today. She's a social media expert. She is a small business coach. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So how far behind the times are we if we don't have social media?
Stone Ages.
Taking
horse and buggy to work.
Really?
You know? Yeah.
That bad.
Yeah.
So give me an idea right now what social media is doing for, let's say, a company like Apple. You know, Apple's pervasive. Apple is bigger than 4 NFLs. Apple is bigger than all the real estate in Atlanta. And yet they still need social media?
Yes.
Okay, tell us why.
Well, if you think about branding, advertising, how much do people pay for a Super Bowl ad these days, right? I mean, I remember it was $1 million. It's probably a lot more than that, right? So that's paying for just to have your product in front of millions of people watching the Super Bowl, right? Well, if you have people Instagramming from their Apple phone or their Macs or wherever, that's constant PR and branding getting you top of mind.
So it's just recall
everywhere.
recognition. It's the same reason that when you're driving home from work, you hear the same ad every day hammering into your head. If I say to you, Winston tastes good.
Like a cigarette should.
Because they hammered into your head as a kid.
Yes.
Right? I don't remember any other ones.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Wouldn't you really rather
I think
have
the worst slogan was for SpaghettiOs. Uh-oh. SpaghettiOs. I'm going to rethink that one, but yeah.
But that's the same idea, though. It's all about recall and recognition, right?
Yes, yeah. Twitter is the new PR. That's what I like to think of it.
But there was some rumor that Twitter was going to go away.
You know, I don't know. It could. MySpace is still around. You know, people make fun of MySpace, but MySpace is still relevant. So I don't think Twitter will ever disappear, but it's not as cutting edge as it once was when the influencers were on Twitter, the real people.
Okay, so at the end of the day, if you think about social media just as a way to cast a bigger net.
Yes.
Is that about right?
Correct.
So here's then my obvious question would be, and I know I'm going to get questions. A lot of our listeners are entrepreneurial, and a lot of our listeners are reinventing themselves because they either got fired and they've got to go to school or they've got to start their own business. What about the smallest guy on the block? What about the guy that owns a dry cleaner?
That's the guy who's going to be able to benefit from it the most and compete with the big boys because they don't have the $1 million ad. They don't even have money to pay for just local advertising.
What if your expertise is in, putting together wood cabinets and you're like, I don't even know how to log on. How can I have a Facebook presence if I don't even know how to get to the internet type thing?
Right.
Wouldn't you hire someone or people that do that?
I highly recommend people who, you do what you do best. You're funny, so be funny and have someone tweet for you so they can follow. And that's a new trend.
Be the product.
A new job.
Remember that crap you told me? Be the product.
That's all I got. And then I try, and then I screw it up, and I say the wrong things, or I typo, or I email somebody the wrong note or something.
Like mom, I want to meet you for a sex. Autocorrect instead of for a sec.
Oops.
But I hate when that happens. So let me ask you this. First of all, I want to
mommy issues.
That's right.
I want to
talk about Sully.
I want to figure this social media for business. You think there's a trend coming on, don't you?
Yes.
You think it's gonna? We're pre-peak here. We haven't even hit the top of this, have we?
Right.
Correct.
Talk to us about that.
Nope. So Twitter was the hottest thing, say, in 2008, right? MySpace was pre-Twitter.
Right.
And now MySpace is great for musicians, or if you're in the Spanish culture, huge, still there. Spanish culture loves MySpace. So that's just something to know. If you're targeting a Spanish culture, you should be on MySpace, right? So right now, you want to look, where are the people? So the people move.
Right.
So they were on MySpace, then they were on Twitter, and now 1 billion, if you consider 1 billion people are on Facebook, that's what you want to pay attention to. So it's really following the trends of where people are moving, and then being where the people are at, being where your customers are at.
Does it have to be criteria specific? I mean, do I have to get, like, for example, Russ is a cat fan. Do I have to have the only tweet to people that'll subscribe to Cat Fancy magazine? Or is it just casting a net on everybody, and you cast enough stuff against the wall, something's going to stick?
It's both. The more you can target your listeners and your customer base that like what you have to sell, great. It's actually better if you have a smaller net that are much more engaged and passionate about your group and product, service, whatever it is, your style of funny.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? Than someone who doesn't really like you and just doesn't participate, right? So
you
don't have to have 1 million followers anymore, and that's where you get into edge rank and how everything is being tracked.
Now, what is it called?
Hold on a second. Coach Deb's our guest, Deborah Cole. Your website, coachdeb.tv.
Correct.
Is that right? There it is for our television audience. They can see that. For our radio audience across the country, whether you're in Boston or if you're in Phoenix or you're in New York, you're in Sacramento or even Spokane, Washington, coachdeb.tv, and it's all right there. Boost your business by 68% or more with social media. Wow, that's a big statement.
Yeah, and that's what we've tracked. We started tracking because that's the biggest thing. It's kind of this airy-fairy social media.
Airy-fairy.
Is it really thing?
Airy-fairy.
So we want to look at measuring social media. You know, what is it with companies? And companies are now seeing for in-person events, they're seeing double the attendance. So, okay, it's not 100%. You don't get it only from social media, but it's a viable way to advertise and get people to your show. So comedians are using it. Musicians are using it. The small guy is using it to get the word out and catapulting their fan base to get the word out. And that's what I like about it the most. It's viral. It's you spreading the word about this person and that person. And just
okay, well, then I've got a question, by the way.
Yes.
And I know that I'm going to start getting emails on this stuff. And Deb's going to come back and we're going to do a series on this, because I think we have never figured out the real secret sauce behind social media, and I want to do that. But here's my question. I saw a video that you did yesterday. And
which one?
Great.
No, I saw and it was basically teaching the lesson. What was that movie? Field of Dreams. Remember Field of Dreams?
Sure.
Right.
Remember that?
Build it and they will come.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
If you build it, they will come. That's not the case here.
No.
So just because I put up a website or a Twitter feed doesn't mean that's going to happen.
Right.
Tell me why. So that we have to explore that.
Right.
Because on one side we're saying this is what I need to have and it's going to help me. But just because I do it doesn't mean it's going to work.
Right.
So where's the secret sauce in between that?
The point is actually using it, not just going up to these social media sites and setting up a site and hoping people are going to come and, right? No, it's not going to work. So you want to drive traffic. You want to get people engaged. So it could be just being funny. I mean, there's a site. It's something my dad says, and it's now a sitcom. Have you heard of it?
Oh, yeah,
right?
About San Diego, I think.
shizzlemydadsays.com.
shizzlemydadsays.com.
Remember the shizzle myth? Remember the shizzle myth?
Shizzle myth's still a good idea.
Remember the shizzle myth for the Lord Russell's?
I think it can still.
Lord Russell's Industries. You know what the shizzle myth was?
Let's give off.
Shizzle myth was it was part of the same Russell. Lord Russell Industries, Russ's company, started a Credit Crunch. That was Cocoa Puffs and peanuts.
Well, it's all I have in the cabinet.
In a handy carrying case, otherwise known as a Ziploc bag.
Well, it's reusable.
And then we did that from ice cream on a donut store.
That's a great
and
combo.
over to the Gundromat, the laundry and gun cleaning.
It's good.
And then there was the shizzle mitt. Remember the shizzle mitt? That was it was the plastic mitt.
Right.
That was to pick up dog poop, and when you took it off, it had little blades of grass.
It looked like grass,
and it was the shizzle mitt.
Yeah, and then you could just throw it anywhere, and it would blend in, and no one would know.
I like it.
Yeah. Right, I don't know how we got there. Shizzle, my dad said.
So I have a list of products.
All right, when we get back to the break, I want to talk about that, because I think that's something that we need to discuss. Is that just because you build it doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen.
Right.
And I think that's a mistake when people blog, and I think that's the same mistake when people build a website, and it's certainly the same mistake when people do Twitter.
And I want to find out what's it called? What's that specialty called? Like to hire a kid? Well, I'm saying a kid because everyone's a kid to me now. But to do that Twittering for you,
social media managers. Yes.
Social media manager.
Yep. Yeah.
Damn it! You better
Google
that.
Google that right now.
And MySpace is big in the Hispanic community.
It is.
Russ, you want to explain that one for me?
No, senor. No, not today. I cannot help it because I am over there on MySpace. Mio Spesa.
Russ, Tina Hale, Sully, Big Biz Show. Deborah Cole is our guest. Coach Deb, coachdeb.tv. She's a social media expert and a small business coach. We're going to talk about if you put up a Twitter feed, we're going to figure out how to get people to look at it. That's all coming up. Big Biz Show, bigbizshow.com.
Asking the hard-hitting questions you want answers to, but mostly just drifting off and staring blankly at the wall. It's the Big Biz Show with Russ and Sully.
Big Biz Show, bigbizshow.com. So great to have you along today. CBS Radio Network, Armed Forces Radio Network, Business Talk Radio Network. You have 1,500 stations at BTRN. We are live in many of them. We're replayed in all of them. There's a late-night replay of Big Biz Show. You're starting to sound like Kermit there, Russ. It's a perfect basket.
Thank you.
Deborah Cole is with us. Coach Deb, we call her, CoachDeb.tv. She's a small business coach.
Yeah, you've never had a coach and gym look like this.
No. Can I also say she's a motivational speaker as well?
That's good.
She's an internet marketer as well. She's a jack of all trades, but she's here to talk to us about social media and kind of what kind of impact it's going to have on local businesses. So here, let's answer that question. Mm-hmm. If you build it, will they necessarily come?
Right. No.
And they don't.
They don't.
So give us 3 takeaways this week, maybe or maybe even just one that if we put up so Russ is going to put a Twitter feed out this week. How do we get people to look at that? Without using an unfair advantage. Without using microphones television, because we have an unfair advantage.
Right,
so
right.
If he was just a schmo,
boots on the ground
right. Without this platform,
right.
How do you do that?
First of all, just be funny. That's obviously who you are, and that's your brand.
That's all I got.
But even if you're a small business owner, be entertaining. What I like to say. Don't just be serious and talk about dry cleaning. That's not interesting.
25% all shirts this week.
Yeah,
really?
That's boring.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll clean the shirt off your back, but you'll be naked. Or something like
that's
that.
better.
See, that's
better. You'd be a great consultant for the dry cleaner.
That's what I can be.
He is a dry cleaning consultant.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. I found my niche.
Yeah. So, because you want to think about media. Look at media, traditional media. It's like you guys are funny, right?
Yeah.
People, if you were just talking about boring
business
tips,
no
one would listen
Sucks.
for
I hate
as long
those
as
shows.
they do.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why we're not that show.
Be entertaining. That's the first thing. And then engage with your crowd and engage with the followers. Follow other people in your industry.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Yes.
Because I've heard this more than once, that if you have no followers,
Yeah.
you go follow other people.
Right.
It's like if you have,
Yes.
so you open up Twitter account today.
Right.
Step number 1 to getting your first follower, probably telling your family and friends and all your Facebook friends.
Exactly.
And then what's the next step? Go follow other people?
Go follow other people.
Is that how
Do
the
a
viral thing
search.
happens?
Yeah. What I did when I first started, I was living in Hawaii. I really wanted to interact with people that were like me. There was a limited amount of people you could do that. I was on the North Shore of Oahu. So I actually participated in Twitter. And I started out as a search and looked for people in my industry. So I looked for internet marketing. I looked for home-based businesses, just anything that I would have commonality with.
Yeah. Okay.
So you could do the same exact thing no matter if you're a dry cleaner, if you're a comedian, whatever it is.
Right.
Look for the things that actually interest you.
Meeting planners, destination management companies, people that might book me,
Yes.
stuff like that. Yeah,
Yes.
Dry Cleaners Association?
Dry
Now
cleaner.
that I'm a consultant.
Yeah. And people that you might learn from, interact with, and then provide value for people that might benefit from you. So think about how you could provide value and follow those people, but also follow the people that will literally give your business a boost.
It's a full-time job just being out there on the
social media. Yes.
Social media thing.
And that's why social media managers are the fastest growing business in America right now.
See, I knew there was something good there.
See? So if you get canned from the show, you can be a social media manager.
That's right.
So having somebody tweet for you, is that dangerous?
I used to say don't do it.
Okay.
But I've
because it's
some,
unauthentic, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't the whole idea behind Twitter to show the little nugget of who you are out there? I mean, it's not like a necessarily 148 character cry for attention. It can be like a window to the inside of who this person is.
Right.
And like you said, if you're
Sometimes
entertaining
too
or funny, that's a good thing.
Right. So that's what we were just talking about on break is you can actually schedule things that are funny or entertaining, or if you're a business owner, I'm speaking for you specifically, you're funny, right? So you could schedule the things that you might say throughout the day, and then you would give it to a social media manager. It's still your words, it's still you, it's still your brand, but they're just doing the legwork. They're just doing the techie part of it.
Right. Logging on, putting it up.
Right.
Right. Because that's what the time toilet is. You flush away a couple hours just doing that.
Yeah.
Yes. What are you doing?
Yes.
Right.
And then the biggest thing on Facebook, since again that has 1 billion followers and subscribers,
right.
use pictures. That is one of the best things to do. So that's a great thing for
you put
social media
photos
manager.
up.
So photos are one of the best.
Yeah, I love photos.
You know what I want to talk about next week? Next week,
and-
I'm going to talk about using Facebook and Twitter in concert with each other to build your following. Because I got to believe that is a thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Because even though they're different, you have to use them together.
I see those icons come up. You want to Twitter this and Facebook this?
Yes.
Like maybe both.
Yes, you want to do both. Absolutely.
Now you tell me.
Thanks, Coach Deb. Coach Deb.
All right, Coach. Let's go. Shower time.
Oh, easy. CoachDeb.tv is her website.